This is one of my go-to recipes when I'm in the mood for chili, but I'm a little bit pressed on time and can't commit 3 to 4 hours to making a slow-cooked chili. And this one gets the job done using important yet simple techniques to maximize flavor and have dinner ready in less than 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's some good chili.
And this is a version my children will eat.
It's really good.
Because it has a lot of flavor, but not a lot of spice. Now I'm going to be using butternut squash here. Yes, a vegetable. But before you go calling the chili police on me, hear me out. Butternut squash adds a nice sweet and nutty flavor to the chili. Some of it melts right into it, while the rest adds some great texture. So try it before you knock it. Just make sure you dice the squash into really small pieces. Another option would be simply to grate the squash, which would also work. Now you're also going to need to dice up a medium-sized onion and crush up about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic. And then also dice up about half of a bell pepper, depending on its size. Now bell peppers are sweet, and you could obviously use a spicier pepper here. Like I said before, my kids have a little bit of a low tolerance to spice, although I have been trying to build up that tolerance lately. Sometimes I try and sneak peppers into their snacks. I thought maybe they wouldn't notice.
Thank you, Daddy.
And that they would begin to like spicy things. But they did notice, and they were not amused.
There's a pepper in here.
I'll just keep trying, I guess. But to make this chili happen, get over to the stove and grab both a pot and a pan and get them over the heat. Then into the pan goes 2 pounds of ground beef, preferably 80-20. Just break it down like you normally would and begin the browning process. Now into the pot, you're going to add a generous amount of olive oil. And then in goes your onion and the garlic, and you stir those around and start to sweat them down. Follow that up with the bell pepper and the butternut squash, along with a strong pinch of salt and some black pepper. And simply stir and let that saute as you get back to your beef. Now the meat should be starting to brown now, so we're going to go and add our seasoning. You start off with a good pinch of salt. Then to that you add 2 tablespoons of cumin, 1 tablespoon oregano, 1 tablespoon chili powder, 2 teaspoons paprika, and 2 teaspoons smoked paprika. And continue cooking that down. Back at your veggies now, add in 5 to 6 fresh thyme leaves. Dried thyme is fine, but if I have it on hand, I'm definitely using fresh. Now the beef is fully browned, and this is generally when people would stop cooking it, but if you continue to let it saute and let that fat render down, what you'll get is these nice little crispy bits. And it helps to press down your meat into a thin layer so that it makes direct contact with the pan, and it can get a good sear as opposed to just steaming. And if you leave it there for a minute or two, you'll get more of that caramelization and flavor. It's worth the effort. From there, you're going to add 5 to 6 ounces of tomato paste to get that concentrated tomato flavor in there. Then add just a splash of apple cider vinegar and a generous splash of Worcestershire sauce. And to balance out the acidity, add just a drizzle of honey. And then finally, you're going to deglaze the pan by adding about a half a cup of beef stock. And if you don't have beef stock, you could also just use water here and maybe flavor it with some beef bouillon. But the goal here is to deglaze and pull up all that flavor that's stuck at the bottom of the pan. So stir that around until your meat's looking caramelized, glossy, and delicious. Then take all that chili meat and put it together in the pot with all the vegetables. Stir until well combined. And then finally pour in 2 more cups of beef stock. And if you want to know how to make your own homemade beef stock, I'll leave a video in the description below for you for that. As well as all the ingredients to this recipe will be listed down there too. Now the goal here is just to bring the chili to a simmer, concentrate the flavor, and reduce it until it reaches your desired thickness. For me, this took about 8 minutes. Now here you can remove the thyme stems, but I just leave them in there probably because I'm lazy and it's an excuse to play a game.
I found a time stamp. I get one of these chocolates.
Which I choose to do any chance I get. And at the end here, don't forget to taste your chili to check to see if it needs more salt, vinegar, or honey to get that perfect balance. Now, of course, this chili will be good as is, but feel free to add any of the typical toppings that you might want on there. I'm adding a little dollop of yogurt, some shredded cheese, plenty of fresh cilantro, I think that's real important, and I add a little jalapeno or hot sauce to mine. And there you have it, butternut squash chili with a deep flavor in less than 30 minutes.
Let's get this little taste. Oh yeah, that's some good chili. Got a good balance of those spices versus the acidity and a little bit of sweetness from the butternut squash. I mean, for 30 minutes, this is quite good. There's even that hint of smokiness from the paprika. I just really enjoy this one, especially when I'm in a hurry. It works out great. I gotta test these with the kids still. Until next time, Go make something delicious for someone you love.
It's really good.
All right, thanks guys.
You're welcome, Dad.